be showing you is just the ABS Mark III. I've done a video on these before, but this is just a slightly updated one. I'll just be showing you the actual lock itself and one or two techniques that you can use on these. Generally when I pick these locks, I just have a mixture of spade picks, etc. that I use, so I'll just show you one or two of them. Okay, you can just see some slightly different picks and tension tools, bits of spring steel, etc. That'll make sense when I show you the actual lock. So literally just a few different picks there, because I generally find as well, just depending on the job, the situation, some picks work better than other picks, but we'll see how we get on with this lock. Now obviously with these locks, the Mark III ABS, we have to deal also from a picking point of view with the fact they put a magnetic pin in there, so somewhere on the key, if I just grab a key here, there'll be a magnetic pin, just to bring that into view. In this case, on this lock, you can see it's on the 5th pin, okay, but it could be anywhere on there. Okay. Also, the lock has a row of trap pins on each side of the plug. We've got 3 trap pins, so if I just zoom in, hopefully you'll be able to see them. Okay, just on the underside of the plug, just bring that back into focus. Hopefully you can see the 3 trap pins. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and we got that on each side of the plug. And they're obviously there just so when the lock is actually picked, the plug will only rotate so far, then lock up. But once the lock is picked, they're not too hard to deal with. And obviously if this was picked out on site and someone didn't know what they were doing, you then wouldn't be able to get the key back into the lock. Okay. Also from the external side of the lock, once the lock is actually picked, if you're just using your basic spade picks, it won't pick up the cam. Okay. So normally it'd be the tip of the key, the actual tip. When that goes into the lock, as it goes through, it now engages into the cam, i.e. the turn. But when you're picking the lock, if you haven't got anything in there to do that, you then have to pick up the cam once you got the actual pins picked. Okay, but hopefully it all makes sense. Okay, so just from a picking point of view, okay, the first technique I'm going to show you is on a lock like this, where we know where the actual magnetic pin is, and we know that it's the 5th pin, because if it is the 5th pin, it makes picking a lot easier, because all I've done here is adapt a key. Okay, you can see I've cut off all the way down half of the key blade, and all I've done is left the tip of the key, okay, and the magnetic pin. Okay, what that will allow me to do is to do 2 jobs that I'd normally have to do in a different way, and that is firstly to pick up the cam, and secondly to get straight onto that magnetic pin. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to insert that all the way into the lock, and you can see how it goes off on the pin side, so that now stops. Now what that will allow me to do now, if I just swing the camera around, that will allow me to go in with a pick down the side of that key and start to pick the lock. What I have to do, however, is make sure that that key is pushed in. I don't know if you can see, if I push it then let go, it springs back out. So I just need to make sure that when I'm picking, that it engages into that cam. Okay, so this I'm just going to use a basic little spade pick. So I'm just going to push the key in, apply a bit of slight rotation, start to go into the lock and start to pick these pins. And I'm just picking it in a way that we'd pick any traditional dimple type lock. So just feeling for the bound pins. Okay, sometimes the bound pins is quite hard to get over. Onto the last pin there. So you can see how that has jumped quite a way. Okay, so what I now need to do is just get rid of them trap pins. So all I do is go in, and what we're doing with the trap pins, again, we're depressing the pins. Okay, again, gauging into the trap pins. So I just need to depress them trap pins out of the way, just nice and light. Okay, you can see it now starting to rotate. Trap pins engage again. Disengage them trap pins. And disengage the trap pins, you just stay nice and light on the tension. All I'm doing is gently teasing down on the pins where the trap pins are engaged. Okay, and eventually you get that full rotation of the plug. Okay, now the key won't come out because it's caught behind the pins. So to get the key out, I just insert a thin tension tool all the way to the back of the lock, depress all the pins, so I can start to pull out that key. Okay, I'm just depressing all the pins and then the key comes out. Okay, so that's the first way that we can pick these locks if the magnetic pin is the 5th pin. Okay, nice and easy to identify where the pin is, because when you go in you can actually feel the spring resistance of the standard pins. If there's no pin there, i.e. the magnetic pin, that's where you know the position of that pin. Okay.